Gjykimi ndaj ish-krerëve të UÇK-së Hashim Thaçit dhe të tjerëve në Hagë do zgjasë së paku 3 deri në 4 vjet, thot Nevenka Tromp, hulumtuese e Tribunalit të Hagës për krimet e luftës në ish-Jugosllavi. Për 7 vjet e gjysmë, ajo shton se janë paditur vetëm 6 persona dhe se vetëm një rast është finalizuar. Ajo thot se gjatë vitit të kaluar u bëhet qartë se dhomat e specializuara nuk po punojnë në akt akuza të reja dhe se këtë vit pritet përfundimi i gjykimit të Pjetër Shalës. Në një intervistë për Kosova Press-it, Nevenka Tromp komenton edhe vendimin e apelit për rastin e Sali Mustafës, për çka konsideron se gjykata ka prezantuar një praktikë të rëndë të dënimit. Dhomat e specializuara në Hagë kanë filluar zyrtarisht punën në maj të vitit 2015. Për 7 vjet e gjysmë, Trump thot se është shqiptuar vetëm një akt gjykim.
In a 7.5 years, from 6 indictees that were tried in 3 different trials, only one has been finalized completely. Second one, that includes individual Pjetër Shalës, is probably going to be finalized next year. So in 8 years of work of the tribunal, Kosovo Specialist Chambers, we will have actually 2 judgments. As for 4 individuals in the so-called Thaçit et al. Trial, these 4 individuals are now being tried. The opening of these trials was in April 2023, and if we can judge how expedient Salih Mustafa's case was and how expedient Pjetër Shalës was, then we could actually expect that Hashim Thaçit et al. Trial will last at least 3 to 4 more years.
Nevenka Tromp, e cila shkroi librin Gjykimi I papërfunduar I Miloševićit, shton se dhomat e specializuara nuk po punojnë me akt akuza të reja.
In 2023, it became very much clear that Kosovo Specialist Chamber is not moving at all to new indictments. So for me, 2023 was a test year to look whether Kosovo Specialist Chambers has evidence and capacity to indict more people. If Kosovo Specialist Chambers has no capacity, no evidence, and no way forward to indict more people, then it might end up to be one of the most expensive legal institutions after the Cold War in this new global justice system, because we will have this court working for 10, 15 years, just trying 6 individuals indicted according to its statute and jurisdiction.
Gruaja, e cila punoi për shumë vjet në Tribunalin e Hagës për ish-Jugosllavi, teksa flet për drejtësinë e këtij institucioni, thot se po bën histori juridike interesante.
Justice is a very complex issue and there are many definitions for justice is. Just to give you an example, I've said that there are 6 individuals indicted for war crimes and some of them also were indicted for crimes against humanity, but this court had actually 5 individuals indicted, tried, or is in process of trying for contempt of the court because these individuals have been found responsible for divulging of confidential materials, or some last ones, Hagë Shala, Sabit Yanusi, Ismet Bakhtiari, have been indicted for influencing and putting pressure on prosecution witnesses. So it is an interesting social and judicial concept where we have actually a court to deal with the gravest of the crimes humanity faces, and these are the crimes, war crimes, and crimes against humanity in a times of a conflict, and especially in the times of a armed conflict, but then next to it, 5 of its indictees are citizens who have been put on trial because of contempt of the court. So whatever notion of justice is, this court has a very interesting, is making a very interesting legal reality, and by that it is making very interesting legal history. And for whatever period of time this ad hoc tribunal will take place, it might be one of the most expensive legal institutions so far.
Trump konsideron se dënimi për Salim Mustafën është praktike e rëndë që gjykata e ka prezantuar.
If you would ask how we can compare this first final judgment, appeal judgment in Salih Mustafa case with national jurisdictions and with the ICTY, then we see something quite inexplicable, and this is enormously severe sentencing practice that this court has introduced. And this severe conviction and judgment practice is going absolutely to raise lots of eyebrows, look at the court and say, oh, is this justice or is this over prosecution? Are you using this court and this institution to render very severe judgments just to make some sort of selective and symbolic point? And this selective and symbolic point being, oh yeah, Kosovo Albanian armed forces also committed war crimes. And this might be reality that will be used as an argument to question how objective, unbiased and impartial this court is.
Krahas kësaj, Trump thotë se në rastin e Mustafës konsiderohet si drejtësi e ashpër dhe se dënimi maksimal për krime lufte është 15 vjet.
Why and under which circumstances Salim Mustafa's case is so is considered as a very, very tough justice, if justice at all, is that we have in his indictment just 4 counts of war crimes. So he's not tried for any offense, criminal offense that qualifies as crime against humanity. And if you look, what are these 4 counts? What do they constitute to? And how many victims we are talking about? In his case, you can count about 6 to 8 victims because we do not have the full names. It's sometimes difficult to see whether one victim is considered for all 4 accounts or not. And you know that in this case, in the Kosovo specialist chambers, they have this participating victims pleadings as well, and there are 8 participating witnesses in Salim Mustafa case, and for that he got a sentence of 22 years, I guess. And one of the biggest problems, legally speaking, from which you read now from legal professions, is that in Kosovo legal system, the maximum sentence for war crimes is 15 years, and that if a legal institution, if a court has 2 different laws from 2 different same jurisdictions, that the judges will also apply the law that is more lenient and more fits more or the defendant.
Ligjëruesja pranë Universitetit të Amsterdamit flet edhe për kozgjatjen e gjykimit, për çka konsideron se bazuar në kohën për cilën po bëhen hetimet, gjykimet duhet të përfundojnë në kohë më të shpejtë.
So if you ask me how long and why this legal process is so long, then I said for the period of time that it tries, and in a statute of the Kosovo Specialist Chambers actually say from 1st of January 1998 to December 2000, then we see that, and in Pjetër Shalës case, in Salih Mustafa's case, we are talking about, in Salih Mustafa's case, we are talking for a period from 1st of April to around the end of April. So there are 3 to 4 weeks. In Pjetër Shalës case, they talk about the period of time 17 May 1999 to 5 June 1999. So there are few weeks of the war. And then in Thaçit et al. Case, they are talking about March 1998 to September 1999. Yes, if you look, very limited time period stated in these indictments, these trials should be very short in expedient, but this does not mean that this expediency is reflected in such an extremely severe judgments, policy and practice that this trial chamber 1 has now set as an example.
Trump pret që gjatë këtij viti të përfundojë rasti Pjetër Shalës.
Two issues are very important to watch. Are any new indictments coming? And secondly, Pjetër Shalës case will finish, and that will be actually from 6 indictees, 1/3 of the cases will be finalized, and then of course the biggest expectations that goes beyond 2024 is what is going to happen to Thaçit et al. Case, because this case has proved to be difficult even to observe because of the lack of transparency. There are too many closed sessions, too many protected testimonies and witnesses for outside audience to understand what is happening, what are charges against it. So Thaçit et al. Case is going to be a very important case for these 4 individuals, for the legacy of the tribunal, but also for the Kosovo understanding of the legacy of the 1990s.